Dungeons are some of the most fun things to explore in anime. A good chunk of anime, especially in the fantasy genre, includes some type of dungeon. Sometimes it's a place to discover hidden treasure, and other times it's a place to fight your way through in order to defeat an unspeakable evil. Most people associate dungeons with something underground, but as you will see on this list, dungeons could be towers too. Now without further ado, let's dive into the top 10 dungeon anime. Number 10, Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash. Before Haruhito had realized what happened, he was surrounded by darkness. Why was he here? Where was here? Even now, he still didn't know. Those around him were the same as him. No one remembered anything other than their own names. And when they emerged from the darkness, the worlds that awaited them seemed like something out of a video game. In order to survive, Haruhito forms a party with the others, learns fighting skills, and as a soldier in the reserve force, takes his first steps into the world of Grimgar. Number 9, I'm Standing on a Million Lives. Aloof and logical middle school third-year Yusuke Yatsuya is transported to a game-like alternate world. He becomes a third player and takes on a dangerous quest with his classmates Ayu Shindo and Kujo Hakazaki, who were transported there earlier. The cold Yusuke eschews emotionalism and examines all elements with detachment, sometimes even toying with the lives of his companions. Can he protect his party from attacking monsters, difficult incidents, and powerful scheming enemies and win the game? Number 8, Sword Art Online. The year is 2022, and gamers have lined up on launch day for Sword Art Online, a hotly anticipated MMORPG that lets players connect to an immersive virtual reality world with special helmets. Called Nerve Gear, Kirito is one such gamer who's eager to jump back into action, having spent a great deal of time as a beta tester, and quickly becomes friends with newbie warrior Klein. But soon, Sword Art Online's 10,000 players discover that not only are they unable to log out, the only way they can return to their physical bodies is by beating the 100-level tower's final boss. That is, if their HP doesn't drop to 0 first, for death in the game means death in the real world. Number 7, Goblin Slayer. Rumor has it that, in a certain guild in the middle of nowhere, there is an extraordinary man who has climbed all the way to the silver rank just by killing goblins. At the same guild, a priestess who's just become a new adventurer has formed her first party, and the man who ends up rescuing that party when they get into trouble is none other than the Goblin Slayer. Number 6, Log Horizon. With over 20 million players worldwide, Elder Tale is one of the hottest online RPGs. At least, it used to be only a game, until the fateful day that tens of thousands of players became stuck in the virtual world, unable to log out. For these would-be knights, healers, and magicians, Elder Tale is no longer a hobby, it's a reality. Complete with tasteless in-game food, revivals upon death, and boring NPC conversations. With no other options than to accept their fates, the analytical Shiro, perverted and proud Natsugu, tiny and adorable Akatsuki, and other new friends must adjust to their new lives in Elder Tale, avoiding player killers and monsters along the way. Number 5, Arifureta. The ordinary life of 17 a year. Old otaku Hajime Nagumo is disrupted when he and his classmates are summoned to a fantasy world and tasked with saving mankind. While his classmates are gifted with impressive abilities useful in combat, Hajime is belittled for only gaining an inferior transmutation skill that lacks any real offensive power. During an expedition in the Great Orcus Labyrinth, Hajime is betrayed by one of his classmates, plummeting him to the bottom of an abyss. Though he survives the fall, Hajime is faced with menacing monsters and misfortunes that send him spiraling into a grim nightmare. Desperate to live and return home one day, he resolves to fight for his survival, only to meet an imprisoned vampire he names Yu, who is also seeking to escape the labyrinth. Taking an interest in him, Yu and a few others along the way accompany Hajime on his journey to find a way back home, while steadily transforming from commonplace to the world's strongest. Number 4, So I'm a Spider. So what? Day is as normal as it can be in high school as the students peacefully go about their everyday activities. Until an unprecedented catastrophe strikes the school, killing every person in its wake. Guided by what seems to be a miracle, A handful of students are fortunate enough to be reincarnated into another world as nobles, princes, and other kinds of people with prestigious backgrounds. One girl, however, is not so lucky. Being reborn as a spider of the weakest kind, she immediately experiences the hardships of her dire situation. Even so, she must press on to survive the numerous threats that endanger her life. Discovering that her new world has a system like that of an RPG, she tries her best to hunt prey and defeat monsters to level up and evolve. As she gradually grows stronger, she hopes one day her efforts will be rewarded, and that she will be granted a better life. Number 3. Is it wrong to try to pick up girls in a dungeon? Life in the bustling city of Orario is never dull, especially for Belcranel, a naive young man who hopes to become the greatest adventurer in the land. After a chance encounter with the lonely goddess, Hestia, his dreams become a little closer to reality. With her support, Bel embarks on a fantastic quest as he ventures deep within the city's monster-filled catacombs, known only as the dungeon. Death lurks around every corner in the cavernous depths of this terrifying labyrinth, and a mysterious power moves amidst the shadows. Even on the surface, survival is a hard-earned privilege. Indeed, nothing is ever certain in a world where gods and humans live and work together, especially when they often struggle to get along. One thing is for sure, though, a myriad of blunders, triumphs and friendships awaits the dauntlessly optimistic protagonist of this Herculean tale. Number 2. The King's Avatar. In the multiplayer online game Glory, Yi Xiao is well known as the textbook-level expert and a top-tier player. Due to a series of circumstances, he was forcefully expelled out of his professional team. After leaving the pro gaming scene, he resides at an internet cafe employed as one of the managers. When Glory launches the 10th server, he throws himself into the game once more, equipped with 10 years of gaming experience, memories of the past, and an incomplete self-made weapon. His journey back to the top begins. After plotting and scheming, who took away my glory? Under the influence of the storm, my hopes will never be shattered. In its magnificence, the path will not be lost, for I will return. Number 1. Magi's Adventure of Sinbad. Not so long ago, mysterious structures called dungeons began appearing all over the world. No one knows what they are or how they came to be, but adventurers and armies around the world instantly took interest in them. Thousands set out to explore the dungeons, but so far, not a single person has returned. In a Parthivia port, a young boy is about to make a name for himself. Sinbad is good-natured, strong, and craving adventure. A kind deed leads to his meeting with Yunnan, an enigmatic traveler who is far more powerful than his frivolous personality lets on. Yunnan instructs Sinbad to attain the power of the king and change the world by conquering a dungeon. Along the way, the budding adventurer and merchant will have to face many obstacles, but anything is possible with the power of a king. Gotta get up, stop wasting time. Yeah, I wanna